Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's Krista here for your weekly reading for the sign of Scorpio, Sun, Moon, and Rising. I'll be doing a similar spread that I did last week with a 3-card spread, central issue, 2 cards to the side to qualify, and then the bottom of the deck for overall energy for the week. I'll just be using a different deck this week. I feel that all signs need a little bit more healing this week. So this is healing generated this week, Scorpio. And then we'll be drawing a card from the other 2 decks, as always, the Medicine Card Tarot and the Oracle, the Wisdom of the Oracle deck here. So the cards are listed in the description box along with information about how to reach me and why I do what I do. And also a link to alwaysastrology.com, which you can plug your information into, Scorpio, if you don't already know your moon and rising sign. You can find out what your entire birth chart looks like by going to that site. And if for any reason you don't find this reading resonates for you, you can always look up your moon or rising sign readings for the week and see if those help or shed any additional light on general affairs for you this week, Scorpio. But I do hope that you find this resonates with you, and I hope you find it helpful. So I will begin by shuffling. I don't pull from the center of the deck or do any cutting. I just let the cards jump. So I hope you don't mind that. And I apologize for the delay. I was really unwell with allergies these past few days. And couldn't really do anything. So I'm much better now, so you can hear me and I'm not sniffling. So yay! Thank you for your patience, Scorpio. So my dear Scorpios, I wish for you all success, joy, and wellness. I invoke spirits of love, light, and beauty. I call upon Archangels Michael, Gabriel, Metatron, and Uriel to guide this reading in peace, clarity, protection, and wisdom. I ask Mother Gaia to please bless this reading for Scorpio. That's a chunk. So in the central position already, Scorpio, we have the card of abundance. This is a beautiful card to see. But we'll get to what it could be talking about as in what type of abundance in just a moment. I want to look at the qualifier cards, both the right and the left of the central position. The central position is basically supposed to be you and your position in a general matter this week. So I am reading for the week of April 30th to May 6th. And because it's a general reading, I'm going to suggest that you apply whatever you take from this reading to whatever is most prominent to you in your life this week, Scorpio. So next to abundance to the right, we have truth and integrity. And then to the left, we have the cards children. So there's a couple of different ways that I could view this right now. Like I said, abundance by itself, if I were to pull simply one card for you and it was a general view for the week, I would suggest that you would be feeling abundant, that you would be partaking in abundance, that you could be abundantly aware of something, you could have abundant relationships. But the reason why I think it's important to look at both sides here is that qualifier cards tend to add context. And what I'm seeing here to the right, truth and integrity, which is, a dominant, the right being typically the dominant card, is that you are being asked this week, Scorpio, to employ truth and integrity and also to demand it. It is a week for you to become aware of what the point of truth and integrity brings into your life and how you use this to your advantage without abusing it. But it could also be asking as well, Scorpio, that if you are feeling any lack of abundance this week, for example, that the issue relating to a feeling of lack of abundance could be that there's a lack of truth and integrity. Okay? So we'll look at these in detail in just a moment. To the left of abundance is the card children. This could mean children of your own, you being surrounded by other people's children, you meeting with a child or a childlike person who strikes your fancy, who brings joy into your life, or you relate to this childlike person in a joyful way, in an abundant way, maybe that your heart grows because of it. However, it could also mean that the child within yourself, right, we were all formerly children. So it could be that this person within you, this child within you, is either feeling as though you were well taken care of this week and you are feeling abundantly protected and cared for, or that there's a great need for this week, protection and comfort for your inner child, okay? If there's any old family issues or reverting back to destructive or old behavior that you espoused as a child or as a young adult, those could be brought up this week as well, even if you're surrounded by abundance, but not because of an issue of telling the truth and having integrity. I believe it's because of a lack of truth and integrity. So again, if this isn't you personally, this could be a situation you find yourself in, or you're around it, or you're being called to practice this level of truth and integrity, which is really honestly just finding out what you really want, what you really need, and being able to communicate that clearly to others. So let's look at those in detail in just a moment. At the bottom of the deck, Scorpio, we have the card Retreat. So again, with this being the general energy for the week, Scorpio, what I'm going to suggest here is that this is something, the abundance, truth, and integrity, and the card Children, which again is either you or an inner child, someone that you have had to protect in the past, and only you can protect now, right, because you're grown. If you're feeling angsty or that you are all alone or no one knows what that child really feels like, this week could be the time, a really great time, to examine what this means to you on a macro level even deeper. I don't see this as an action week to get your thoughts out, to organize with others, to even express everything that you want and how you feel this week. I think this is an opportunity this week for you, Scorpio, instead of generating action or outward behavior, to instead go within, primarily to address issues having to do with your own childhood. Maybe the entire thing, maybe the whole upbringing, but certainly aspects of your childhood that still haunt you or still traumatize you, or that you're still healing from. If retreat hadn't shown up as the general energy for the week, it's funny because I would have said perhaps this week is the time to at least choose one person you trust to, share these feelings with or these concerns with. But because this is so uniquely about you, and I really feel also that if you were to turn to someone else this week, you might be disappointed because they may not have the time, the effort, even the inclination. Not everyone's a good listener. Sometimes it does take a therapist, and sometimes it is a matter of timing, right? Perhaps this is something to bring up next week or the following week, but not only because the other person, being the listener, isn't ready or won't will be unable to give you what you need at this time, but primarily because you require the retreat. You require further examination of what is coming to the surface here, and how do you act when you act with truth and integrity? Is it childish? Is it childlike? Is it all about your childhood? Are you able to look at the childhoods of the people around you in a fair manner to assess, sort of getting out of our own sense of, our own, that, what am I trying to say? Basically our own heads, our own minds, where you think that everything just happens to you and everyone else just seems to have it easy and you're the only one who suffers and you're the only one who's dealing with anything. And why aren't they listening? And if only they did it this way, and if only they knew these things about you. I would say if this is a conversation you have with yourself, even occasionally, Scorpio, retreat. This is a good week to zen out on those attitudes this week, because those attitudes are not going to get you what you want. Believe it or not. Or if they do, there'll be a high price for it. And I doubt it'll be worth it. It could come at the cost of, truth, for example. Being honest with yourself, most importantly. I'm just going to turn on a light. 1 second. All right. So let's look at these in detail. Just one moment. Sorry for the interruptions, Scorpio. Thank you for your patience. So let's look at abundance here. So you'll see that she's really calm. There's a sense of calm. There's a great sense of spirituality. She's got the halo around her head. You might even feel really lucky or fortunate this week. Despite some of the concerns that you have, you might feel that you do have everything you need, including family and friends, but perhaps more importantly for you, Scorpio, this week, you have within you everything it takes to be the hero that you need to be for yourself, that other people weren't. Other people that you relied on or want to rely on cannot be your hero at this time. But you can. And I think this week it's a good time to come to terms with being that person for yourself regularly. Whether you're single, in a relationship, run a corporation, live in the forest, anything in between. If you turn to others frequently while avoiding what you can give to yourself, including your own friendship, for example, your own comfort, good advice, right? You could be stealing from yourself, and that's not fair. I would suggest this week, Scorpio, that you have everything you need within you. Okay? She's also playing, I believe that's a liar. I think that's how you say it. So it could mean celebration. There could be music this week, reuniting with friends, reuniting with concepts or ideas or even feelings of participation, of pleasure, camaraderie. I don't think it's going to be a flat week where there won't be any activity. That's not what I mean by, you're not going to be active this week. I think it could be an active week, but in the sense of emotional and psychological action, I think the purpose this week, Scorpio, is to go within. So let's look a little at the Truth and Integrity card. I believe Libra just had this as well as a center card. So there could be issues having to do with how you envision your predicament, surroundings, happenings, decision making, and how you feel others are involved in that. I think you're doing a lot of assessing this week, and I mean, if you're already in the habit of retreating, if you feel like this, or if you recognize already, Scorpio, that this is a good week to retreat, perhaps it is a good week to ask not only what are you bringing to the table, what's your truth, do you act with integrity, but also to make yourself primarily, ultimately others when you're ready, but yourself aware and accept your personal boundaries, that other people that you trust and connect with, or that you want to trust and connect with, are truthful and have integrity when dealing with you. And what I guess what I feel like I want to say here too is there's this sense of what comes around goes around, right? Like if you are truthful with others, you can expect truth. And if you don't get truth and you're truthful with others, you'll feel it, like it'll hurt. And it's supposed to, right? Because those are your healthy boundaries. You figured it out. And it's supposed to hurt because if people don't trust you enough to be honest with you, or if people aren't honest enough with themselves in order to be truthful with you, then that raises a whole multitude of other questions. Now you're not even talking about what they lied about or were untruthful about or couldn't bring themselves to tell you. Now it's like, well, who is that person? What is my relationship with that person? And that's exhausting. If you have truthful and integral relationships, you don't even have to have those conversations. So this week, Scorpio, perhaps just ask what kind of relationships you have primarily, ultimately with yourself, right? Everything begins within. And we can't hope to give what we don't have, and we can't hope to reflect or to seek what we cannot experience. So perhaps this also means too that another person or persons or organization with truth and integrity is seeking you. Whatever you're seeking is seeking you, right? So be aware that you do have abundance. You have everything you need within, but it does, as there is a cost, there's a price to everything. The price is that you have to be truthful and you have to have integrity. Now, define those for yourself, right? Maybe they don't come out of Webster Dictionary for you. Maybe you have your own definition for that. But in the general sense of the terms, I believe they are important terms without a whole lot of revision, right? Like honesty and acting with integrity. Acting as though do unto others type thing, right? That's what I consider basic integrity. Do unto others. And don't complain, right? No complaining. Be fair. If you really feel in your heart you're doing your best, then there must come a point where, you know, unless someone's purposely trying to hurt you, and I really hope that's not the case, but unless someone's purposely trying to hurt you, I would suggest basically everyone else is trying to do their best as well. So perhaps have some patience here with other people. We'll look a little bit closer at the children card. We have two little children, little angels. And again, this could very well be real children that you're around this week. You might even be surprised by your feelings for them if you're not around children often. This could be getting closer to the child within, or could be being able to be childlike. The only concern or detriment to the children card is childish versus childlike. So again, with definitions and terminology and so forth, perhaps pay a little bit of attention this week, Scorpio, while you're retreating with these concepts in a general manner. What childlike means versus childish, what you're employing, what you project, what you're healing. Are you being childish? Is someone being childish around you? Do you find a difference between childish and childlike? I do. So just some concepts to mull over this week, Scorpio. Nothing really heavy or anything like that here. Just, I think if there is ever a point in your mind at all or heart at all this week, Scorpio, that if you can get one by somebody this week, or if you can get one up on somebody this week, or if you can take advantage of somebody, or listen, alternately, if someone can get one up on you or someone can get one by you, I just don't see it happening one way or the other. Either you or the other individual or persons or organization has their spidey senses on red alert. So really treat other people the way that you want to be treated. I think it could be just the very basic lesson this week. If you're out of a comfort zone, or if you're feeling frazzled this week, if that's what's going on, then stick to the golden rule, right? Do unto others. And again, with the general overall energy for the week, I do suggest taking a step back from organizing or planning or even discussing deep or deeper complex issues about your life this week with yourself. This week could be a good week to be your own best friend, Scorpio. It's never a bad idea to be your own best friend. Trust me. Right? And ultimately, if you can be your own best friend, you can be the best friend for anyone else out there. And it's a beautiful gift to give to yourself. And like I said, the central card being abundance, if you think for 1 second that you don't have it within you to give to yourself what you need uniquely and distinctly, then I believe you're mistaken. I think you have such a beautiful gift to give to yourself, the gift of friendship, right? So as additional cards for the spread, Scorpio, this week, we have Fox. And Fox's keyword is camouflage. You might feel the need this week, for example, to cover yourself up, cover up your true intentions, to evade, to avoid. This could be even avoidance tendencies. You might even become avoidant within familial or reconciliation circumstances because it's always worked for you, or it keeps from people getting upset or having, uncomfortable conversations. Or again, this could be someone doing this around you, not being fully upfront or honest with you. It is a very cunning card, so it's a very smart card. There's nothing that's lacking intelligence here in this spread. That's not what's going on at all. But there could be a taking advantage of or a one-up. But as I mentioned, there is a price for everything. And just be aware that what you give is what you get. And if you want to be treated a certain way, it's imperative that you treat others the same way. Perhaps even to be the example, right? To take the higher ground. Scorpio it's the only sign that has 2 major animals involved in its sign. Most other signs have 1 animal, right? The Taurus has the bull, and you know, Leo has the lion. Scorpio has both the scorpion. I was going to say Scorpio, the scorpion, but it also has the eagle. And I'm mentioning this today, Scorpio, because your rate of ascension out of all the signs, like ascending to heights of personal consciousness, right? Ascension to pure understanding, pure awareness, pure compassion, could be greater than all other signs. However, the longer you're stuck on the ground, right? Not that Scorpions are awful or bad or anything like that, but depending on what sort of view you want to take on the world this week, if you can ascend something, if you can rise above something and be that eagle, you might find that that behooves you better this week. You will feel better about yourself. You will feel as though you've gained a new coping mechanism, perhaps a new skill. And again, with this element of being able to help others by being that teacher, by being the person who was able to overcome something. Because you do have it within. I swear I don't want these readings to be 26 minutes. Sorry about that. And truth be told is at the last card to come out for the reading. So again, this could just be something that you have been holding in, that you need other people to hear, accepting things for face value, and just plain old honesty. So if you feel any significant behavior that has to do with fooling somebody, being sneaky, cunning, childish versus childlike, this is the week, Scorpio, to back up, okay? Back, if you have to physically remove yourself from these spaces, do it. But do it for your own good, right? Do it because it's good for you and because it'll improve things for you. And you'll see that this helps things out in the long run. So yeah, truth be told, the card of honesty. What are you being honest about? What do you want others to be honest about? Get to the heart of the matter about what's troubling you or what's troubling you about someone else. So that is your reading for this week, my dear Scorpios. I really hope you enjoyed it. Please let me know what you think of that in the comments below. Do join me next week for your next week's reading. Thank you so much for watching and take good care. See you next time.